Hey out there. I thought I'd come in with one of Trump's favorite tunes, the Rolling Stones, Gimme Shelter. I love that song too. I have since I guess I was probably about 13, 14 years old. We're going back to 1971 or 2, something like that, probably. But anyhow, today is Friday, August 25th, 2017, and it's just about 11 minutes past 10 in the morning here in Northern California. And I wanted to get into a whole bunch of stuff as usual. I kind of wanted to focus on the stupidity in society and why it exists in such a degree that it's virtually ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Um, we had Alex Jones out on the streets of Seattle, uh, boldly out there, willing to listen to anybody's free speech and get their point of view on the state of affairs in America and with the Trump presidency and all the issues with the historical monuments, artwork being torn down all over the place. And he had people flipping him off a lot. And one guy he ran after, and it was quite a scene. He's such a character. Kind of reminds me of my dad. I remember he drove off a building inspector, poor old guy. We had some property that we owned together up in Shasta County, 3 acres, and he was building a barn, and this guy was going to come out and red tag the place, and he ran him off before he could, and I felt sorry for him, but the old guy, the building inspector, but that was my dad. So my stepmom and I went into the county office or the building department, and we told, hey, look, he's lost it out there. He's out there digging foxholes. He's a veteran from the Second World War and all this. But really, with my dad, it was more of probably childhood issues coupled with this multiple sclerosis disease that he had for the most part of his life, at least for sure when he was diagnosed with it in his mid-30s, when the doctors gave him 5 years to live. But yeah, we're going back to about 1978 there with the running off the building inspector. But yeah, Alex Jones and my dad are kind of similar, I think, personality types, and pretty hardcore and a little scary, for most people, to be quite frank about it. Very aggressive, very domineering, and yet great men, I would say. My dad was a great man, and a lot of people feel that way about him. But all great men also have great weaknesses, and so both guys have to deal with their own personalities, and that's how it is. But I admire the courage, and I admire just the bravery to stand up in the face of adversity and speak truth to power. And sometimes it's just necessary. It's like Rosa Parks, what she did. It's that same kind of personality that gets the job done that we need to do. And it's very uncomfortable. It's very difficult. It's not fun, but people like that see it as imperative, and I do what I do because I see it as imperative. I see it. I'm compelled. I have a compulsion, a commission to speak out and say what I have to say to the world, and I think it's important because the truth is very hard to come by, and reality is very hard to come by. I think I'm going to title this series of videos today, Palpable Confusion and Legendary Ignorance equals societal madness, something like that. But, our paradigm is so screwed up, all of us. And I mean the biggest anti-Trumpers to the biggest pro-Trumpers, and all the people in between, okay? we have to admit, we have to face the fact that we're screwed up, and it's by design. And one has to ask, well, how is it possible that it could be any other way in light of the fact that none of us are born into a viable reality, and it's been that way for thousands of years. And it goes back to the money masters in control of everything. These are the grand puppeteers that are tweaking us constantly, manipulating us constantly. And we're so enmeshed in it, we're so marinated in it, that we really can't see the forest for the trees. We can't see reality for all the unreality, is what it comes down to. So, I mean, take, for example, wealth in this world. I mean, look, if you read the Bible, which to me is the most valuable knowledge you could ever get, okay, hands down, bar none, it's in the Bible, the teaching of Jesus in particular. But there's a lot of great teachings in there from a lot of great human beings, okay, men and women. These are testimonials. Look, you got to trust somebody in life, okay? When you run across a book as profoundly astute and eloquently written as the Bible, you can't just say, oh, there's no validity because it talks about religion. Well, I fully understand that religion has a bad name, and for good reason, okay? You take the Crusades, Inquisitions, Charlemagne, the Roman Catholic Church trying to take over the world. I mean, they were the first Reich, right? I mean, it wasn't really the Germans, but again, if you look into it historically, they're all kind of colluding together. There's like sick, twisted people all over the world. You got your Bilderberger types, your New World Order cabal, all these human-caused weather change alarmists. Okay, I put them in the same boat. They're elitist. They're hypocrites. These are the grand puppeteers. You got your money masters of misery. That would be the money printing class. And then all the sycophantic, deferent politicians in high places that validate all the crimes. Okay? I mean, it's the same bunch. And the same caliber, the same element, the same mentality of people have been running things for thousands of years in this world. And, believe me, I am just as human as anybody, and I am weak, and I am feeble and pathetic and pitiable, and I seek to escape reality. I want to bury my head in the sand. I wish that I could, in all conscience, prescribe to the philosophy that ignorance is bliss. I really do. But you can't. And when you read the Bible and you see how relevant and alive it is today in our world, and you go, oh my God, we need God's help. I mean, there's evil that does not want to relinquish control, but God is telling evil under no uncertain terms that you're going to have to relinquish control. And I'm just not saying that God is on just all the Trump supporters blindly going along with Trump, that devoted. I mean, that's like the devotion that Hitler enjoyed. So that's not the kind of devotion I'm talking about here. Okay, I'm just saying, look, give the man a chance. He's human. This idea that he's fabulously wealthy, multi-billionaire capitalist, just the kind the communists and socialists hate, the progressives and liberals and all these people, right? Aren't we? Isn't that what we're supposed to take away from it? That this is why they hate him? And then he said a sexist thing, so let's focus on that. Or he's a racist, or he's a bigot, he's a xenophobe. This is all stuff the mainstream media is educating us with. This is what they want you to believe. You see, they're manipulating your paradigm, your reality, your truth, your philosophy, your beliefs, your mindset. Okay, that's what they're manipulating here, because people that they already got it in their head. Look, Trump is bad, no doubt. That's it. So when the media asks a question, okay, all that you're going to hear is the question, okay? And if the question is just riddled with lies the way that they do, it's just propaganda, it's just deceit, it's trickery. That's how they do it. So they keep asking Trump over and over, well, why didn't you denounce white supremacy and racism and bigotry and all this crap? And it's like he said, 500 times he's told them unequivocally that he does. He denounces all of it, okay? And yet the media is all they're going to hear. So that's all people are hearing. Oh, so Trump, that means that Trump's still not denouncing all this stuff. Oh my God, I hate him all the more. Isn't that it? Isn't that how they work? I mean, God almighty, yes, I want suspend gigantic vats of vomit. Okay, this is all I would do to the mainstream media folks. These that go along with this. Okay, that just read this script because they're going to have to start jumping ship sooner or later. They've got a conscience too. I mean, there's got to be a few Trump supporters in the national media. So by them just parroting what the hell they're handed by the grand puppeteers, their boss, because their boss is being controlled by the. You understand? It's like a pyramid of puppetry. Okay. Oh, that's a good title there for a book, right? Pyramid of puppetry, and that's how it works. So who's at the top? The money masters of misery, those that own the copyright to the money, this vast, satanic, wanton power that they lust after. This is the God of this world. This is what they care about more than their soul, their conscience, their integrity, their honor, or anything. Than people's lives. 90% of the people, most of these people, if they'd had to get rid of 90% of the people just to keep their power and their position, their place, they'd do it in a heartbeat. They'd probably love it. They'd say, yeah, it's good for the earth, right? Isn't that what we know? So this is the reality we're contending with, all of us. So is it any wonder that any of us can think straight at all in any way, that we know up from down or down from up? I mean, how do we know black from white anymore with how they have confused us, how they have dumbed us down? I mean, good God help us. So, yeah, jump into the Bible, jump into the teaching of Jesus, and you'll just see how relevant it is and how much we need God, man. If we're going to fix this thing, if Trump's not going to do anything on his own. He's going to only do it with God's help, okay? And that's working through people, human beings. And I believe he's a good guy, okay? And this idea that because he's super rich, look, I don't see myself as any different. I have an alternative reality. This idea that calling people alt-left and alt-right is bad, I mean, who cares? Good. Alt-right, if that's the neocons or the regular right, hell no, I don't want to be like these a-holes. Your Lindsey Grahams out there and your all these other clowns out there, Lindsey Grahams and all these people, God, they make me sick to my stomach, Oh, I can't remember their names, but boy, they are real a-holes. A lot of these top politicians, man, I can't stand them. A lot of these senators in Congress, I can't stand them, man. Really. I mean, there's a lot of really sycophantic piss ants, okay? They're not deferent to the people. They're deferent to their masters, the people controlling the purse strings. We got this budget crisis now. Good. I hope Trump takes it all away. Let him shut down the country. It's all a bluff. He knows it's all a bluff. Hell, the guy owns casinos. He knows what a bluff is. Shut the damn government down. Shut it all down. Yeah. Bring the system down, man. Bring it to its knees. Say, no, we're gonna pay off this debt. We're gonna have a rising tide of prosperity across the board. Okay. We're gonna stop this poverty industrial complex. Yeah. Good, Trump. Go, man. He could be, more regarded than JFK. He didn't have much time to do his thing, but I can tell you this much: if he did, we sure as hell wouldn't have the country looking like this. This wealth and income disparity that we have in America, it wouldn't exist today. Everybody could be rich, okay? And that would set the best example. That's the best thing we do for every country on earth. Get our own act together, because this is the root of the problem. This is the solution to the problem, okay, of high crime. Or a healthy crime rate. Okay, they just meter it out, right? They regulate. Oh, well, how much poverty equals how much crime. They know the statistics. They know how it works. And the same with the dubious war. Much easier to get these things started. Okay, but they've run out the time. Okay, they've run out the clock here. And the debt, this whole debt thing, Trump knows. The social, I mean, look at all the jobs that revolve around the problems. This is insanity. Can't people see this is insanity? Okay. And that's what it comes down to. But Trump being a multi-billionaire, what did Jesus say? He said the rich fear they will lose. So Trump's living in fear just like every other multi-billionaire out there. Okay, that somehow he's going to lose it all. Somehow the IRS or something else is going to lawsuit and they'll take it all away. Whatever happens, some very unfortunate turn of events for them business-wise. And it could all turn around. He could be the next guy living under the bridge. And myself, I don't see much difference. Because I'm living an alternative reality where my reality is one where God said, look, let's look at this whole thing logically. Let's take you back to your birth. Were you born free? No, you weren't born free. You were born indebted, beholden, deferent to the money masters of misery because you have this tax that's laid on your head at birth called a cost of living. And when you're too young to understand it, your parents pick up the tab. But once you understand it, you start picking up your own tab. You see how this thing works? So, no, we're not born free. The most pitiable person out there, the most pitiable slave out there, is one that doesn't realize that they're enslaved, that believes they're free when others are enslaved. At least you should be able to be honest and say that much. You see your brothers and sisters around the world, your fellow human beings aren't free, because unless you're financially free, you're not free. Okay, you're not out of fear. You're insecure. You're financially insecure. So unless you have financial security, and who does? Nobody does. So I don't see myself as much different from a multi-billionaire. And a lot of people that say, oh, well, let's look at your finances and see. You'd be right. I mean, I could call myself poor. In the secular definition, I'm poor because my wealth is being withheld from me. Because I ask, as everybody should, whose planet is this